Good morning everyone. This is Kailin Kamikawa. On September 21, 2021, at 2 a.m., the long-awaited iOS 15.0 was finally announced. Congratulations Hilda Zoo partying face party popper. Well, it's finally announced. This time I felt it for a long time. And what's great about this iOS 15 is, apparently, various things are taken up in the streets, for some reason. What I want to know is the essential. I can't find any specific information. What do you think is the most amazing thing about this version upgrade? That's right, Doraemon is also amazing. That Translate Anywhere feature has finally become the real world. Well, translation has always been done with Google Translate, hasn't it? I'm sure some people say that, but it's not. The translation function this time is different. How? In this version upgrade, the translation of the subtitles, titles, descriptions, and comments of that YouTube, you can now do it on your iPhone. Until now, translating subtitles on a PC was a bit of a hassle, but it was possible. However, on smartphones, iPhone, subtitles could not be translated on the mobile site. No, in detail, in fact, Microsoft's Edge was able to translate as it was on the mobile site. However, the movement is unstable, and it can be used or cannot be used every time the version is upgraded. It was frustrating and not a very practical alternative. With this version upgrade, I immediately removed Edge, because it's useless. In other words, with this version upgrade, the Safari mobile site remains the same. It's finally done so that YouTube subtitles can be translated stably. But unfortunately, there are still some bugs and I think some people don't know how to use it. Here, I will explain in detail again with images. 1. To translate first, click on the left side of the URL field. Then, a menu called Translate to Japanese will appear. If this comes out obediently, it's perfectly normal and there's nothing wrong with it. There are times when he doesn't appear in the ball, his scratches on the ball www. For example, if you try to translate a video other than English, this menu is grayed out, and cannot be selected. Grayed out is still fine, but sometimes the menu itself disappears. This is where the bug begins. If you play around with it here, it will be more complicated, so please operate as follows. Click again and then click the reload button. Then, translate website, or translate to English. Sometimes it moves apart. If you repeat the click several times, Translate to Japanese will appear and you will be able to translate. The trick is that you shouldn't have registered a number of languages other than Japanese in the priority language. It is better to delete all but Japanese and register only Japanese. Then, when you click Translate to Japanese, after that, the subtitles, titles, descriptions, and comments will be automatically translated into Japanese. And even if you move to the next video, you can continue to convert to Japanese in a stable manner. However, if there are only automatically generated subtitles, the subtitle display will be turned off each time. If you do not turn it on each time, it will not be displayed. This area is inconvenient. I want you to change the automatically generated subtitles so that they are always displayed. So, it seems that only English can be translated at the moment, but I would like you to support it one by one. Well, even if it can be translated automatically into English, it will be very convenient because surfing the net will spread tremendously. 2. Next, let's talk about comments. You can now translate comments by step 1. Now it's time to translate your comment into English and post it. This is also really easy. Specify the range of text written in Japanese. Just click Translate from the sharing menu that appears. It will be translated immediately, so if you click Replace with Translation, it will be translated into English. However, there is a bug here as well. First of all, you cannot post in the mode as it is translated into Japanese. Once you click Return to Original, and return to the original text, you will be able to post. You can translate from Japanese to English, but not to Korean, Chinese, or Russia. I want you to solve this one by one. In addition, the function called Translation, by specifying this range is you can use it not only in Safari but also in other browsers and memo apps. Moreover, it can be used in both English-Japanese and Japanese-English, so when you want to translate, Instead of translating the whole thing with, ah, it can be said that this petite translation corresponds. So, once you get used to this translation method, you will be able to translate anywhere while operating your iPhone, so you can really feel the revolution that the world of Doraemon has just begun. After that, if the creators put on the subtitles of their own country properly, it will eventually be so that people all over the world can share and understand one video. Currently only in English, this means sharing information, which is exactly the true information that is not filtered. It makes sense for everyone to be able to share. I really want you to take advantage of this wonderful feature. However, when it becomes possible to translate in Safari, the existence value of YouTube apps is gone, isn't it? Therefore, I would like the YouTube app to immediately support full translation mode. Also, other browsers such as Chrome and Edge, I would like you to respond as soon as possible so that you can translate subtitles and comments. Technically, I think it's already done, but don't hide it. Please publish it as soon as possible. www. Besides that, there are some breakthrough improvements in iOS 15. 3. YouTube app, Microsoft Word, Google Docs, Microsoft OneNote. Heavy apps such as these are now running smoothly. Until now, as I used it, it became heavier and heavier. If I didn't restart it, it would sometimes stop working. Since iOS 15, it's no longer heavy. My iPhone 8 has only 2 GB of RAM. Apparently, on iOS 15, free up the RAM area used by the app. It seems that the app works more comfortably than before. This is really appreciated. Microsoft Word in particular now works comfortably on my iPhone 8. I don't want to buy a new iPhone for the time being. www. Another great feature of iOS 15 is 4. You can now search the Memo app quickly using hashtags. This is also very convenient. 5. You can now manage notifications. Until now, this annoying notification has often appeared from the top to the bottom of the screen. It is now possible to prevent this from appearing. This is also really convenient. There are still great features, but I may not use them much. www. So is there a bug in iOS 15? That doesn't mean it's not completely out of the question. The movement of Yahoo Chiebakuro has changed. Once you start another app and return to Yahoo Chiebakuro, you can fly to another place. Something in the middle of writing disappears. Also, I can use YouTube Studio, but it restarts frequently. Also, the subtitle function cannot be used as usual, and subtitles cannot be downloaded as usual. Well, however, I think that the apps will gradually respond individually. I don't feel like I'm worried about bugs. So, I highly recommend iOS 15. That's all.